I genuinely think my husband is a psychopath. Hi everyone. Please, I need help. I am a 35-year-old female and my husband is a 36-year-old male. We have been married for 10 years and have 2 boys, ages 7 and 5. I honestly do not know what to think anymore. About 3 months ago, my husband started sending me really nasty messages while he was at work. At first, it was just mean comments. Things like telling me I am lazy, that I am a terrible mother, and that he regrets marrying me. It was completely out of nowhere. The weird part is that when he would come home from work, he would act completely normal, like nothing had happened. He would kiss me, ask what was for dinner, and play with the kids. The first time it happened, I thought maybe he was just having a bad day at work. But the messages kept coming. Sometimes he would send them during the day, and sometimes late at night if he was working overtime. They got worse too. He started saying things like I am useless, that I am lucky he has not left me yet, and that no one else would want me. The first few times I confronted him, he acted confused. Like genuinely confused. He would say things like, "What messages?" Or "You must be misunderstanding something." I literally showed him the texts on my phone, and he just stared at them and said he did not send them. He claimed he lost his phone, which he did, but he had already gotten a new one and was still texting and calling from the same number. I know it sounds ridiculous, but he did not look guilty. He looked confused, almost scared. I thought maybe he was gaslighting me, but it was such a weird way to do it because he never got angry in person. Finally, about a month ago, I snapped. I showed him a bunch of the messages at once and told him I could not keep living like this. I told him if he hated me so much, he should just say it to my face. He kept insisting he did not send them and said maybe someone was messing with us. At that point, I was done. I packed some clothes, grabbed the kids, and went to stay with my parents, who live in the same state. They were amazing and helped so much. I have never felt luckier to have such a close family. Since then, the messages have continued. Same number, same horrible tone, things like, "Running to mommy's house just proves my point. You are pathetic. You will come crawling back eventually." I sent him screenshots back to the same number, and he still swore that he was not sending them. He kept saying he lost his phone at work and had to get a replacement. But he still had the same number, and when he would show me his phone, I could not see the messages. I assumed he was deleting them, though. He said someone must have found the phone and was messing with me. Last week, though, I let the kids stay with him for a couple of weeks since he is still their dad and they miss him. He is still denying everything. He says he never sent those messages and that he thinks someone is using his old phone. Meanwhile, the texts have not stopped. At this point, I do not even know what to believe anymore. Either he is lying directly to my face, or something really weird is going on. Has anyone ever dealt with something similar? I feel like I am going insane and do not know what to believe. We genuinely had the most perfect relationship before all of this, and I do not know what to do. I am scared that I am breaking my family apart for no good reason. But some of the texts have been so horrible that I cannot even include them here. Final update: I did a lot more research, and some comments helped me investigate further. I think I know how the messages were happening from multiple devices. Because we message using WhatsApp, and after doing some research, I learned that it allows multiple devices to be connected to the same account. So it is possible someone else could have been sending them from his lost phone, but overnight, the messages did not slow down. They actually got worse. They were not just insults anymore. Some of them started to feel like threats, and I was terrified. There were things about how I would regret leaving, and some were even worse than that. I barely slept last night because of it. At one point late last night, I finally texted back and said that if the messages did not stop, I was going to the police. I know a lot of people said not to do this, but I could not take it anymore. And I knew that whether it was my husband or not, the person doing this would at least see it. I know I made a lot of people angry because I could not just make up my mind about what to do. But here is a reminder: this is my husband, the man I loved unconditionally for over 10 years. Dumping him and blocking him out of nowhere is not an option. We built a family and a life together. My life is not a movie where I can just cut the last 10 years out like many of you insinuated. Some people also called me a liar and an attention seeker, pointing out every mistake I made. I know I posted online for help, and I have to accept some criticism. But sometimes people on Reddit really go too far, and I saw that over the last day. Please think about the harm you can cause when you leave a comment. This is not just social media. This is my real life. And I know many of you who wrote those things probably would not say them to my face. Now, the messages did not stop. If anything, they got more aggressive. At that point, I became convinced it had to be him. So I decided to be true to my word and actually went to the police station. I saw some comments about being able to track a device to a small location if you have the phone information and are on the phone plan, which I am. I got the device information from my husband. The worst thing about this situation was that when I contacted him about the kids and other information, whoever was sending the horrible messages also seemed to know about it. I was terrified that I was putting the kids in danger and possibly making whoever was doing this even more angry. So I knew it was urgent to get help. At the station, they were able to track the missing phone. I claimed it was simply lost because, at the time, I did not know if I was going to file charges. Because it was my husband's phone, they actually gave me the location, and the officer who helped me was very kind. The address was very familiar and quite close to our house, so I decided to drive past to see where I recognized it from. It turns out I had been there before for one of my husband's workplace parties. The co-worker who lives there is someone I was actually quite close to. I was angry and honestly just exhausted from everything. The kids were with him, so I went over early to pick them up before he expected me. My mom came with me because I did not want to go alone. She took the boys so I could talk to him privately. I told him I knew one of his co-workers had his old phone, and how disgusted I was that she had ever been someone I considered a friend. By that point, I was completely breaking down. When I told him this, he looked shocked. So I asked him why his phone was at her house and how she knew his password. He said maybe she took it from work and that he did not know how she knew the password, but after reading some of the comments online, I was done with those excuses. That answer did not sit right with me at all. Something about the whole situation felt off. The messages had been too personal. Whoever was sending them knew things that only someone very close to us would know. So I pushed harder. That was when the truth finally came out. The co-worker, a 30-year-old woman, was not just a co-worker. She had been having an affair with my husband for over a year. He tried to claim it was not serious, but I was sick of him making me feel like I was overreacting. I know people suggested this possibility earlier, but I just could never bring myself to believe it. I have never felt so betrayed in my life. Everything suddenly made sense. She knew details about our relationship, our house, our routines, and the kids, things that would have been impossible for a stranger to know. All because my husband had been telling her everything. I still do not know exactly how she ended up with his old phone. He claims he lost it at work and believes she took it. But honestly, I do not know what to believe anymore. All I know is that the messages kept coming from that device, and they kept getting worse. Who knows how far she would have gone? Apparently, when my husband lost his phone, whoever had it continued using it. Meanwhile, he had already gotten a replacement phone. But the old phone was still logged into WhatsApp. So technically both phones were tied to the same account. I did not even realize that WhatsApp worked differently from regular text messages and that things like this could happen. That meant the messages could be sent from the old device and still appear as if they were coming from him, while not appearing on his current phone. Part of me thinks there is no way he did not realize something was happening. The messages were constant. It is hard for me to believe he was completely unaware of what she was doing. Maybe I am wrong. But my trust in him is completely gone. At this point, I have officially decided to start the process of filing for divorce. This is not the man I thought I married. After everything that has happened, I do not even feel safe around him anymore. For now, I am staying with my parents with the kids. I do not trust him around them right now, and he seems to understand that because of the affair and the situation. The fact that someone who smiled in my face, sat in my home, and acted like my friend was secretly involved with my husband for over a year, and then spent time tormenting me while pretending to be him, is honestly one of the most disturbing things I have ever experienced. I still cannot even wrap my head around it. I also have this horrible feeling that there is more to the story than either of them is admitting. All I know is that I have lost all trust in him, and no amount of counseling could fix that. We are done. Thank you all so much for the help. I'm genuinely scared about what I might have done if I had not reached out, because I never expected this from him. I do not know if there will be another update. I have a lot of recovering to do. I feel like I just lost over 10 years of my life to a lie, and I need to get used to the idea of starting fresh. I'm incredibly grateful to have my family. Knowing they will be here to support me and the boys through this is the only thing bringing me comfort right now. There is obviously still a lot more I have to sort out, but I am safe now. I just want to put the safety of me and my boys first. This will be my final update. Thank you all so much.